Welcome to the Vision Gap Show. Align your big idea and vision with a plan of action to resonate and stand out in your market. With your hosts, Andy Helko and Tony Zayas.
Welcome back to another episode. Tony Zayas and Andy Helko here at the Vision Gap Show. We're going to dive in this week and take a look at HR tech and looking at audience segments, personas, all of that. So we're using KarmaCheck as our example company here, Andy. And I know you got the segment recommendation screen loaded up.
Yeah, this makes it super fast and easy for folks to figure out their target audiences and key segments that they're going after. You know, you come in here, it'll start building recommendations for the segments that you should use that you can then start prioritizing on. And so right now it's brought up a couple for us. So large healthcare staffing agencies, sounds like that's a smart one. Call center and BPO companies makes sense. Lots of, folks that they're hiring on a regular basis. And then enterprise IT staffing firms. And so that happened based off of our description of our website, other information that Frictionless is able to grab about them. And so now we've got our target personas in here or our segments, and it started to suggest some target personas for us to go after.
Now you can always define your own segments, define your own personas, but the recommendations I think are super helpful, and it's based on pulling info from the website and what it knows contextually.
Makes it easy and fast. And then, one thing that we've showed a lot, and I think is always important, is that we've got limited time and money to devote to outreach, marketing, sales, all of these different things. And so we want to prioritize which segments we should go after. And so we've got this little priority scoring tool in here that we can say we've got high experience with healthcare. The competition is kind of medium for the software that we offer. Our specialization, how unique is our tool for healthcare staffing agencies? Well, we may say that it's high. The demand and need for it right now is medium. The scalability, how fast can we add customers within this segment? Put medium. And then passion we have here is an optional one that, is there a segment that we really are excited about trying to grow? And so what it does is you can see it created a score for us. And then as we're developing personas, we're doing other things within Frictionless, it's looking at it from the context of this is the segment that we want to prioritize over others. And not just one, but it ranks them. And so you may have three that are at the top. If you look at 6 or 7 different segments and you say, these are the three that we really want to put our time and money into because of these logical factors.
Right.
And folks may not see it, but you are scoring those on your side as well. And so these are my scores and then our combined scores. So I assume, Tony, you put that scalability was high. If you've got 4 or 5 people in your organization, leaders or a leadership team, this allows you to kind of come in here and use that combined knowledge and understanding.
And then something else I was going to point out, and you might be going there, but this segment that was kind of automatically generated and you just selected, we could go and fine tune that a little bit further. So we have the segment niche score, and we can make that a little bit more narrow if we were to say like it's US only, something like that. Or
yeah, and so I'll come down here and I'll just say healthcare large. Like you said, we'll go ahead and say we're just targeting down in the United States, and then we can even go and say into a specific state. Right. And now what you can see in the segments score is we went from broad to narrow. And this is important because when you're doing marketing, you're doing sales, any of these things, the more narrow that you can be means that you understand the audience better. And the reason that it goes down when you add something like enterprise in here, and it barely went down, but it did a little bit. One of the reasons that it does that is because the messaging that you might have to a large healthcare organization, human resources department, could be very different than that from an enterprise, just because they have different criteria that they need to focus on. They may have a different purchasing process where one is more driven by pure procurement versus the other. And so what we tend to look at is the more narrow that you can get with these segments, the better the information, the better that your focus is, and the higher likelihood that your marketing is going to be effective.
Yeah, and that's not to say that you can't go into other segments, but for the sake of the segment and personas that you're building out here, we'll be able to develop much more focused and targeted messaging, positioning that'll resonate with that audience. And then you could do the same thing for other segments.
Well, and that's why you have multiple segments, is the more that you can have 10, but each of them being highly narrow, so that then when you do your prioritization, you can really understand, okay, these are the 3 or 4 hyper narrow segments that we can focus on. And then when we do our investigation, like creating personas for them, which I'll do right now, now we're doing that based off of this extremely focused information and approach. So I jumped in and went ahead here. So Frictionless suggested personas for us. So I added 3 of them that come into our segment. And now I've started to research pains, which we always use pains as a great way to create new marketing campaigns. What are things that are keeping people up at night or they're looking to solve? And so we've come in here, and Frictionless is looking at it from a perspective of, we're a HR tech company. We are targeting large healthcare staffing agencies, and this is an HR director. And based off of that, these are the pains that they deal with: managing high turnover rates, implementing diversity and inclusion, enhancing employee well-being. And so we've now started to add some pains. And then we've got a wide range of other factors that are really important to both marketing and sales. Buying factors for sales. What are the reasons that people choose to buy a product? Our sales team should really understand that in and out, what criteria people are using. And in this case, it might be ability to source specialized talent, technology integration, cost effectiveness, speed of placement. And if we've now selected those, our sales team knows when we're talking to the HR director, we should make sure we're really communicating around these pieces. And then we get into more motivations, which gets into marketing. What's motivating folks? Responsibilities. What do they need to do every day in their job? Helps us understand what are some potential conversion tools that we could build. Influencers, trends that they're looking for in the future, software that they use, down to, we always talk about sources. What are information sources out there that they use on a regular basis to learn and understand new things? So we can see here, Society for Human Resources Management, American Hospital Association, HR Dive, down to World at Work. And so it's really pulling in these hyper-specific sources that they use to learn, that our marketing team and our sales team should be aware of, they should be reading, they should be engaged with, to reach these HR directors in large healthcare staffing agencies.
And I know you're running the summary here, but off to the right, there's a number of things that you can dive in and enhance further with the questions, notes, all that stuff.
Yeah, it goes so in depth. And again, that's important because we really believe that if you understand your target audience really in depth, that you will be significantly more effective in marketing, sales, product development, customer service. And so here you can ask questions. There's some samples here. How much time do they spend online? What are their long-term aspirations? But really, you can ask any question that you want, your marketing team, your sales team. And then we'll kind of pop up recommendations as we talk about this summary. But in the summary, you can see it took a lot of the factors. And again, it's pulling in the fact that we're HR tech, we're going after this HR director in a large healthcare staffing agency. It pulls together the pains and the motivations and the other things that we pulled together already. And it really helps create a nice, solid summary of what we're looking for in this persona. And then as I'm talking, what is happening on the right side is that Frictionless is beginning to generate recommendations for us. So one of the big ones is articles to create. So for this target audience, we want to create content that's going to be appealing to our target audience. So it goes and it looks at those factors and says, let's create an article called Boosting Healthcare Staff Wellbeing Initiatives. And that was based off of one of the, probably pains that we had, the enhancing employee well-being. You can see over here. And so now Frictionless has helped give us an idea for an article. And then same thing in conversion ideas. What's a tool? A diversity and inclusion strategy assessment tool. Campaigns, the Ohio Healthcare Diversity Leadership Summit. Again, you remember we put in that we were narrowing down to Ohio. So now it's helping us determine that we should create this leadership summit as a campaign. Website ideas, implement a robust talent pool database. Again, it's really helping, go beyond just understand the audience to now, how do we use this information to be more effective and more powerful?
Right. And those recommendations are super, super helpful in thinking along the lines of your audience, of the personas, of what they might want to hear about, what are the things that will get them to take action, so on and so forth. So I find it super valuable to look at that. It's fantastic.
Agreed. And we didn't even get into it, but we'll touch on it lightly, is surveys. One of the additional really powerful things is not only do you want to use the AI and our data sources to do that unbiased research, which we just showed and went through, but with surveys, you can now create custom surveys for different personas. Again, we want to make this hyper segmented and focused. We create those surveys. We can send them out to existing clients, potential customers, maybe an outreach program that we do on LinkedIn. And we can ask a wide range of questions that relate back to our persona information. And then that gets incorporated into this persona data that we now are using for a wide range of different things. So now you're balancing this unbiased research that's really looking at a really high level. It's leveraging a lot of data. Then you're also balancing that with feedback and opinions that you're getting from that target audience. And you're pulling it all together to, again, create these personas that just give your marketing, sales, product development teams all the ammo to be super successful every day in what they do.
Yeah. And the surveys gives you such a simple way to get straight to the source, that feedback, really powerful stuff.
Agreed. So I would definitely say if you're an HR tech, you want to be effective in marketing, you want to be effective in sales, start with understanding your target audience better than anyone else in your market, because that is what is going to give your team those tools, that information to just really excel at their jobs.
Yeah, good stuff. And if you want to check it out, frictionlesshq.com. Give it a try and feel free to book time with us if you want to go through it in more detail. Happy to run you through a demo. And we will see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.
This episode of the Vision Gap Show has been brought to you by Frictionless. Build high-impact strategy at scale. Create your vision, brand position, and go-to-market strategy. All in a collaborative AI-enabled workspace. Visit frictionlesshq.com to create your free account today.